really like the taste of sherbet, but I definitely have a thirst for this sherbet. Anne with an E had a rocky first season, but this third season they finally found their stride. Just in time to be canceled! When a show based on a book ends, there are certain loose ends you want to be tied up. For an orphan, often the feeling of not knowing your history can be a loose end. Marilla and Matthew take their daughter's need for closure as their own. They call on people, they send inquiries, they really try to help Anne figure out who she was before she came to them and before she was in that awful orphanage. Also, I continue to think that Marilla and Matthew were perfectly cast in this adaptation. They're just everything you want them to be. Anne has moved on to the boarding house in Charlottesville to attend Queens College, and she looks all grown up with her hair up and her mildly puffed sleeves. Marilla and Matthew have made the trip to her boarding house to share a letter that came all the way from Scotland. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any answers. It's really sad. And it just goes to show you that Matthew and Marilla's love really does hope all things. Meanwhile, Anne is dealing with Gilbert. There have been a variety of misunderstandings, one primarily being that Gilbert is supposed to get engaged to Winifred. But at the beginning of this last episode, he dumps her. She's upset, of course, and he tries to tell Anne how he really feels because she's already told him. Oh wait, he never got that letter, and when he writes her a letter, she tears it up in a fit and then tries to piece it back together and reads it all wrong. It's perpetual longing and misunderstanding just keeps us on the edge of our seats. It seems like these two are not going to get together until Anne is walking through town on a grown-up walkabout and she sees Winifred. And Winifred is very annoyed with her, but it becomes clear that Anne really doesn't know what's up with Gilbert, and so she tells her. And of course, Gilbert doesn't know what has happened either, but thankfully he's on a train and goes to switch seats and ends up seeing Diana and her family. And Diana lets him know what the real story is. He jumps off the train and goes to find Anne while she is running toward him. And sherbet becomes a thing. They kiss, they love each other. Whole thing is just lovely, and it's exactly what we wanted to happen. They're still going to go their own ways for college and be pen pals, but we know they're going to end up together. And in the end, Marilla and Matthew are able to get a book that belonged to Anne's mother. And she sees a hand-drawn picture of her mother and knows that her and her mother looked alike. Not only did they give us the romance we wanted, they gave us the closure we wanted. Anne starts adulthood with all of her loose ends tied up. She knows who she is as a person. I loved how this ended, and there's some cause for hope that maybe the cancellation won't stick. Here's hoping we have more with Anne of Avonlea.